Welcome back to another episode of Server Room. I'm Nandini, your host for the podcast, and today we have Sharath here with us, who is a technical evangelist for ITOM ManageEngine. Welcome to the podcast, Sharath.
Thank you so much, Nandini, for having me here. It's been a great time with me today to talk about the ITOM of ManageEngine with you. Yes.
It's our pleasure to have you here. So I'm really excited for this conversation that we're going to be having.
Me too, yeah.
But before we dive into all of that, I think I want to know a little bit about you and how you came to be part of, running this whole ITOM events and talking about it.
Right. So I've got, starting from about 10 years before I've started my career, and I just started how may I help you over the call with a lot of people, and that was obviously one of my networking solutions. So I started from there back in 2014, I suppose. And then I've been working there for a quite long time, and then I've picked up my interest towards the network solutions. So how that really helps people in different aspects. And then I picked up more on the network. My interests were growing more on the network side, and then I landed up here in ManageEngine. Even in ManageEngine, I've started as a technical support engineer, working with most of the customers throughout the globe, helping them with our own solutions to solve big problems of their network. And then as I picked up more on that, and then I became a technical evangelist for our products, and then I've started talking more on the events, expressing about how the ManageEngine solution can be a real help in their infrastructure, and that interest became more, and then I'm all over the globe with events for ITOM from ManageEngine. Yes.
That's actually such a nice, path that you've talked about. Yes. So was it very exciting?
Absolutely. That's one of a roller coaster for sure. It's ups and downs, but I really love what I do.
That's it. So when do you make the switch from technical support into, talking about or being on stage?
Nice. So I think I did 5-6 years before. I was with the technical support for closely about 4 years. And then I moved in the last 5 years. So totally put together 9 years with ManageEngine already. So last 5 years I've been working only on the evangelism of the ITOM solutions of ManageEngine. Yes. Yeah.
So now I think we can get into the question. So I think I would really want to know what ITOM is, because we talk a lot about it. We talk a lot about it on events and ManageEngine, social media. It's just a lot out there. So I think I want to know what ITOM is.
Perfect question to start with. That's the foundation of this podcast for sure. So to talk about what ITOM is, the IT operations management, and I would say that is the backend foundation of any IT infrastructure for that matter. So when it becomes any business you work with, any business you run for that matter, you would definitely have a lot of components involved to have that business run. Say for example, starting from your application, the end users would look at the application to get your service. So starting from your application, that application would be hosted on a server. And that would definitely have a database behind it. Likewise, there are a lot of other components on your network as well, for routing, your switches, and your security firewalls, your wireless LAN, access controllers, access point. There are a lot behind it. So for all of these components for an IT infrastructure to run, you will have to manage those. Monitor them. How do they really work? Are they working at their benchmark? To see all of that is where ITOM comes into picture for an organization. So ITOM would really help you to check out their health, their availability, their statuses, and their entire performance of those components. That's what ITOM is.
Okay, perfect. So how does ITOM differ from ITSM?
Okay, nice. So ITOM and ITSM is quite completely different. So as you could have understood what ITOM is. So it's all about the backend running and monitoring all of these important components running a business. Where ITSM becomes your service management. It's the IT service management. So service management is completely relies on or for the people who work for that business. Say you wanted to go start a request. Say you wanted to have a particular machine in your company. So you want to raise a request, because ITSM is completely focusing more towards your service delivery. So that has a couple of components in it. Say for example, it would have its incident management component, change management component, service deliveries, and much more on that. So most commonly used are incident and change management, which is quite related to ITOM, I would say. So anything which raises as a problem needs to be quoted and created as an incident. So, and maintain as a ticket. That's for the audit purpose and to maintain a SLA. If there is a problem happens, there should be someone who is taking care of it. That cannot be easy to text them that, hey, my critical server is down and then can you take care of it? You would not have a track for that, right? Or you cannot send them an email. Emails can also be not tracked quite easy. So there should be a solution for it to track, and that's what your ITSM solutions are.
Okay.
For example, if a critical server goes down and a problem is initiated, and it would be tracked in the ITOM, and it will automatically create an incident on the ITSM solution. So there would be a certain person, the network administrator or a network technician, who would automatically have that ticket being assigned to him. He would be able to take care of what the problem is, analyze, is that really a problem? How many tickets likewise have come in the past? So is that a real problem? There are so many of the end users are reporting the same problem, so that you would understand the importance of the problem. So for those things, incident management will help. And you can just go analyze them, fix them, and then close the ticket within the SLA. You get to see how much time it would take for you to, start working with the problems, troubleshoot, and then fix it. That's one part of the ITSM. On the other side, there is a change management module. So what that does is anything which you wanted to change in an IT infrastructure, you cannot just go ahead and then unplug and plug it. Say you do not like this particular switch, and then you say, I just don't want this. You can just buy another one, just replace it. You cannot do that. That needs an approval process. That's where your change management comes into picture.
Okay.
So based on the ticket you worked with troubleshooter, that needs a change. So it's just not only a physical device change, it can be a configuration change, it can be a software change, it can be an upgrade, anything that needs to be go through an approval process, right? So there would be a change management involved there. People would just request for it, and then you can just go ahead and then approve the process, and then it goes on. So these are service delivery places, and that's where ITSM comes into picture. Monitoring and managing comes from the ITOM sector of it. Yes.
Okay. So in the example you quoted, let's say your service is down, or let's say you are facing, let's say the employees in an organization are facing some issue with, let's say, the wireless network. So the I think ITOM would probably look and figure out that there is something wrong with the environment website.
Right.
But ITSM comes into picture after that. Yes, right?
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah. So is there any day-to-day example that you can quote for ITOM?
Okay. So when you have an ITOM solution in place, that would help you in different aspects. For example, you run a business. That's a digital platform. For example, say you run an e-commerce business. You sell a couple of things which you do. And that's a service for the end users, right? So you wanted to know how many of them have visited this page today, from which part of the world they visited, so that you can just plan your business accordingly. And probably you wanted to run some marketing aspects of that region, because that particular region has something coming up as a festival or something. You want to run some campaigns on that. You will know there are a lot of people who are looking for your product or your service from that region. You can check that. Or probably you wanted to know how your business is performing on a region. Is that slow? Your website is fast, slow? In which part of the world is slow, fast? Those things can be achieved. Or even simpler to quote it, just basically you want to know how your CPU utilization of a particular critical server is. The app is hosted on a server. You wanted to know how that particular CPU utilization of the server is. Because if the CPU spikes too much, that could be definitely cascading to some other problems. So proactively you wanted to know that and then fix it before it happens. So that's all some basic examples you would do on a daily basis.
Does that come under predictive maintenance?
Absolutely. Yes. Proactive and predictive maintenance, predictive analysis. Yes.
Because I've read a lot about that.
Right.
It seems interesting that
Yes.
you can actually predict the future and probably solve it before it actually.
Absolutely. Thanks to AI for that. Those AI are the ones who really help us in doing the predictive analysis and help the administrators to proactively take measures before it happens.
Right.
Because when it happens, there's going to be a lot of chaos behind it. It's being the service delivery is affected for the customers, or being the cost involved for the downtime. There are a lot behind it. So yes, actually, thanks to the AI for that. Yeah.
Perfect. So while researching for this particular episode, I came to know this very common buzzword which is called full stack observability. So can you touch upon what it is and how it actually comes into the picture with ITOM?
Definitely. Why not? See, when we talk about ITOM, observability is something which we cannot never miss out. because observability was a buzzword a couple of years before, but now I think everybody uses on a daily basis. Every network admin on a daily basis use the word observability, right? And people also nowadays quote that slow is the new downtime, right? So being slow doesn't mean it's just slow, it's really down. It is no more that it's up or down. People do not want whether your service is up or down. They really wanted to know whether they really perform. That's how it is. That's where the observability comes into picture. So there is a thin line difference between monitoring and observability. So monitoring was just evolved to observability. That's what it is. So monitoring is just to know about, you want to know about the CPU utilization of a server, you would go ask for the CPU utilization value, it gives out at a regular interval for that matter. And it will tell you what has happened, but it will not tell you how that has happened. So that is when observability comes into picture. Observability can let you know how things are happening. It can help you to analyze, predict, and it can check on the past actions of a particular problem, and then it can tell you the current things, and it can also help you forecast things. So to put it in a simple words, observability is a mindset that can help you with answers for any questions in your business. It's just not only you want to know CPU, go ask for a CPU, collect a couple of data points, and then analyze how this is. No, it's not about that. Observability can answer any questions. You want to know how many people have visited that web page of your site, how many people might visit, where it goes down, when was that happened. All of that questions can also be answered. It helps you to run your business better. Even Gartner also quotes in such a way that observability is something which would help you to get more insights of your business and speeds your innovation process of the business, and also helps your customer experience. Why observability have come into picture is because one main core component is customer experience. People are looking more towards customer experience nowadays because of the competition, right? So even if you wanted to book a holiday vacation package in any of the websites, and if it keeps loading to bring up the packages there, obviously you'll switch to the next one on the search engine, right? Immediately move on. People cannot wait anymore. So the response time in milliseconds is even more lesser today. Less than 2 or 3 milliseconds, people cannot wait. So you want to keep looking at how your web pages are performing. That's more important. That's when one of the key points observability have come into picture in the real world. Or I would say especially after pandemic is when this ITOM's observability, the full stack things have come up into limelight or the spotlight, I would say, because after pandemic digital transformation have took its pace. Everybody wants to do only on the digital. As we were not able to meet each other physically, we all wanted to meet on the e-platforms. And businesses also started up that way. All businesses were all digital. So people can sell from India to US to Middle East. People can sell anything from anywhere. So the e-commerce business on the digital was also picked up its pace. And because of this digitalization, and you have distributed architecture. So here there are minute and simple components being sitting in different parts of the world, and you want to do business in different parts. So those components are also to be monitored. Only then you would know how that local business is. So there includes your microservices, containers, Kubernetes. All these new complex technologies have come into picture. When complex come into picture, monitoring cannot solve that. That's when observability also have born. And to add another point to it, there were silos. When you talk about silos, even today there are stats talk about 40-45% of the people, organizations use 2 to 5 or 2 to 6 tools to monitor different aspects. One for application, one for network, one for security, and things like that. So to talk to multiple silos, it's very difficult because they can be not from the same vendor. It can be from different vendors. They do not talk same language. Backup, support, everything is chaos there, right? So observability can be like one single place. It can help to gain multiple insights from all layers of your infrastructure. Starting from the end user visible layer of your application, the hosted server, the database involved, the network which supports, all these information can be seen from one single thing. That's what people say. Do you want to really choose a single pane or multiple panes? That's what people say, right? So that's when observability becomes a single pane. That's where the full stack observability is in place. All stack of your infrastructure can be observed and understand what it can bring you to the business to bring more of the insights for the business. Yeah, that makes sense. That's how it is. Yes.
Okay, that seems Very interesting. But then one other question that I have, right? Um, what are the challenges that an organization may face with, let's say, you have one full stack observability tool in your organization? So if let's say you have, as you said, if let's say you have, let's say six different applications that target different aspects of your, let's say firewall or network, and you have like multiple products, okay? Yes. And you have one tool that observes all of this. So how does, like, what are the challenges that any organization might face if you have to, actually go through with this, if you want to get a full stack observability tool into your organization?
Right. So challenges, definitely there are a couple of challenges here and there when you wanted to migrate from multiple silos to one full stack observability solution. There could be a little here and there challenges. So those could be, you will wanted to see whether this full stack observability can serve your purpose, all sorts of purpose inside your organization, whether it has capabilities to instrument everything, to collect data from all possible ways. That's one big challenge where there could be few solutions which can talk to only these type of devices. Though that's a full stack, there could be a couple of restrictions on that. We have to take a look at before we get a observability solution. Does it talk to everything? So that is one thing. And when that instrumentation is sorted, when it collects the data in all formats of communication protocols or telemetry or however it is, once the data is collected, is it really possible to correlate those data, collect the data, save as much as possible, and talk about the scalability there? That's another big challenge. When you have single tools, that's different. When you have got all in one solution, you will have to think about scalability. Especially when you are an enterprise, you will have hundreds and thousands of devices, whether all of that can be put into one single solution. The scalability can be another big challenge here. After you see that challenge of collecting and correlating those data, does it really give you the value of understanding? Does it really observe those things and give you as a start, okay, this has happened this time or this has happened this time? That may not solve the problem. Solutions, though it brings out the full stack and observes all data, put it on the single pane, does it really give you the root cause analysis? What has happened right now? If a particular CPU utilization spiked, why it possibly could have been spiked? Is there something recent changes have happened in the last 7 hours of the day or last one day? Is there new configuration changes have happened in the network on that application server has spiked the CPU? What changes have happened? Application code level changes has happened. What are the past changes happened? That should also be collected to tell you the real value, the real-time insights of the CPU being hiked. And it also should tell you that the forecast predictions of what possible causes it can create if the CPU goes up to 100%. Or let's say if the disk goes 100%, when it can go to 100%, what you should really do with recommendations. So impact, recommendations, and the past of it. So it should give you that much. If that is not there, it's become another challenge when you go for full stack observability solutions. These can be achieved only with help of a couple of AI things in it. All these machine learning and AI can definitely help. So once you have a proper instrumentation, get the data, correlate, give you a better analysis, and there are tinge of AI should be there to help you to give you a forecast, your capacity planning, your impact, all of that. So that's something important.
Yeah, so that's pretty much what AIOps does.
Definitely. That's what AIOps is. So when we talk about AI today, there is all we talk about these generative AI, which can create content, create social things. That is very popular everywhere. So that's really of a great use for the AI. But when we talk about the IT operations management, AI has to be really steady, has to be a little slow in the progress, only then it can be steady. That's what I believe in. We cannot think that AI can do everything in the ITOM because there are a lot of data involved, I accept, but those data is very critical. We cannot take anything for a toss. If it's a content, that's going to be a little different. So content can be a little here and there different, or it can be wrong. You as human can correct those things. That's fine. But here you cannot take that. That's where we always recommend whenever you talk about AI ops, think about how AIOps can help you. Really, does it really help you to solve a couple of problems in your organization? Does it solve a couple of complex issues, or does it help you to save a lot of time? That's very important. So if you really saves time, that's pretty much it for the administrators today, right? And I would also say whenever we talk about AI ops, you definitely do not want to go for a platform. So when I say platform, the full stack observability can be one solution. It can collect the data, as we spoke about, instrumenting, collecting the data, correlating things. That is possible. After that, you should not give those data to another AI platform to process and give you insights. Personally, I don't believe that would work great. AI should be a feature in the product of the full stack observability solution itself, as just a feature, so that the data within can be processed even more greater, is what I believe in. So when you have the AIOps in picture, it would help you to give you a lot of insights. That's what I said. Like, it will help you to understand the past and predict and tell you the future. So people were talking about being proactive is very important. So being reactive has already gone. Being proactive is on the talks. But I would say from reactive to proactive to predictive is very much important. And the next stage is going to be preventive. So that's going to be the cycle of it. Be from the reactive to proactive, preventive and predictive. That's how you have to be. AI, it will help you in the predictive nature, especially our solutions. There are a lot of solutions within ManageEngine takes care of this, especially the AIOps perspective, give you the capacity planning. And this helps. When I say capacity planning, this will tell you how many devices in your infrastructure is not being used properly. So that would save a lot of time, that would save a lot of money there. So capacity planning, your forecast alerts, and it will tell you about the impact also. So those are something which AIOps can help you with. Yes.
Okay, that is. So, how do protocols, come into the picture in ITOM? Because I think like protocols are basically hard to any IT infrastructure. So, how do protocols help in like transmitting or let's say, communicating within the IT infrastructure?
Right. So when we talk about the protocols are as you said, the heart of communication from the devices to the solution. So those are communication protocols like your SNMP, your syslogs, your ICMP for checking the heartbeat of the device, the availability, or be it TCP, or let's say HTTP, couple of APIs, and there are a lot of other protocols as well. So these are very basic and simple protocols which would help the full stack observability solution to talk to those devices and get the information very often. So those are important for observing and collecting the data from the devices. That's how we do. If it's on premise, most of the devices starting from Windows or Linux or network devices, all of these devices would definitely have SNMP. So the latest SNMP v3 also do support in all of these, most of these. So when we have SNMP, so we talk to those devices through the SNMP on a particular port protocol and then collect the information, save it, and then that would help for the administrators to focus on.
Okay.
Yes.
So I think protocols would definitely have a huge impact on the compliance and the security
Right.
of any organization.
Right.
So why don't we talk about this?
Compliance. That's one of the very interesting topics to talk about, especially on the compliance, because all these protocols, as said, would go collect the data, get the information, save it in the solution for you to take actions, right? So
and it's saying like clinical data.
Absolutely, it's very important and critical data to take business decisions. That's what I would say. On the other side, this is all about the data to check about the performance of your infrastructure. But on the other side, compliance and security is also way more important than your metrics. That's what even observability talks about. So your metrics, events, logs, and traces. That's what MELT is all about. The observability is lies on that pillar. And today what people talk about is security is also added to this observability MELT. So when compliance come into picture, there are different types of compliances. Industry standard compliance are there, which the infrastructure, the IT infrastructure or the organization have to adhere to. And the company by itself would have a lot of their own compliance policies. So those are something which the ITOM solutions should definitely cater to and understand. Why? Because the industry standard compliances are made in such a way that it falls into the security posture. Because if this particular rule of a network device is not being proper, then it's not compliant. If it's not compliant, obviously it might possibly lead to a security loophole. That's why there are compliance in place first. So ITOM solutions would go check on each and every of the network devices, be it any type of compliances for that matter, be it Cisco's iOS policies or CI's policy, NIST policy, GDPR, any policies for that matter. These tools, the observability solutions, would go check on those devices, read its rules and configurations, and tell you whether that falls in the right place. For example, I would say one of the biggest vendor has a policy stating that none of the network devices from their brand should have a password called public. So there is a default settings. Whenever you buy a new device, by default there would be a setting where when you enable the password, it will be public. So it should not be, because that's a default one. People would easily guess that. So if you do not change your password and you have the same default password, that's a breach. That is not compliant. So the ITOM solutions would tell you this is not compliant, mark you in the red cross. So as administrators, you would know how much score you get for a particular network device on these industry standards. So that's very much important for the audit purposes as well. And on the other side, compliance is for their own organization. It should cater to customize to their own industries. Say there is one of the organizations say I should not have any of my password called admin at 123. That is not an industry standard by the way, but the organization says that. Or let's say ManageEngine at 123. In our own organization, nobody should have the network devices, which is so easy to guess. So you should have the capability and customization possibility in the solution to go create a rule and then run that rule against your network devices and check its compliance. That's what our solutions generally help you with in terms of compliance and security. Yes.
Okay. So I think in one of our previous episodes, Santosh, we had Santosh on our episode. So he was talking about how an organization enabled, this rule that if, let's say, you have a public password, or let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, they would probably reduce your score. You wouldn't have access to the organization, our folders and files and applications. So I think it's like a very clever way to saying that their organization.
Correct. Because we cannot say everybody to be, well educated of that. People do trainings, people are doing the marketing stunts everywhere to understand that. But still people would say it's easy for me to remember admin at 123 and they keep it. Exactly. But when you have to force them to not use that when you have admin at 123, that makes sense for the organization to keep safe, right? Yeah. Yes.
So data centers are, important, and it's definitely, have to be there for any organization that is out there.
Exactly.
So how does ITOM help in, maintaining the sustainability and the efficiency of running these data centers?
Right, that's a nice question. See, when we talk about the sustainability, ITOM also has a little bit of importance to, contribute towards the sustainability, because this helps you monitor those. When we talk about data centers, this ITOM solutions are very important for a data center monitoring, because data centers are huge. It would have a lot of servers, network devices, and racks in it. So solutions would help you to have how your racks are, virtually presented there. You would visually see how the racks are. And you would understand how the usage of your power, be it air quality, your humidity, temperature, voltage, everything can be monitored with ITOM solutions. Yeah. So that is one way to understand how your effectiveness of carbon footprint is, how much of power you use, how much of voltage you use. Is that really necessary for this size of a data center with these many devices? You have a lot of formulas today to calculate the carbon footprints of a device which has been emitting. And on top of it, you have a lot of other features which help you, like these tools, the observability solutions would let you know about the sprawl. Say how many devices are underutilized, how many devices are overutilized, how many of them are idle for a long time. So there is a device which is idle, which has not been used for last 7 days. We have a question why that device is running on a power. That's of no use. And there are a lot of things which say, generally people say that there is only 40% of the hard disk out of 100 is generally being used. So why there is a 60% of the hard disk which is not being used at all for quite the entire lifetime and still using the power? So those data can definitely be achieved with the help of ITOM solutions, so that you can just focus more towards your sustainability goals. We talk about more on the sustainability today. People have wanted to reduce carbon footprint. So keep an eye on how much of the power or the voltage is being used by your devices in your data center, plan your resources accordingly. The capacity planning helps you. On the other side, the underutilized and overutilized reports and device list will help you. Okay, these are the devices which not been used, so definitely not use it. Power off those devices. Those things can be done. Yes.
Okay. So does ITOM also help in, let's say, insider threats? Does that come into the picture at all? Because like security is definitely a hot topic for sure.
Definitely.
So,
Yes.
Like since ITOM observes a lot of, patterns and all that, do you think threat detection can also be addressed with ITOM?
Definitely. See, as I've told, observability have included the security also in it today. So security is very much important. It's not about only the security tools. We'll have to talk about it. ITOM has the inventory of all of the devices which helps the organization to run. So these devices can become a backdoor for anybody to come in, especially there are applications, your servers, anything. So security is definitely very much important, and ITOM also has equal importance to take care of the security posture of the organization. So when I talk about security, there are solutions in the full stack observability. Within that would help you to talk about network detection and response. So any threat happens, we would be keep watching it, because as you say, we observe all of these information. We would look forward for any anomalies. If there is a pattern which is on a regular way and there is a skip, there seems to be a little bit of difference on that. We would just keep observing that very often and say that is a possible threat can happen. Simply, for example, there is something called UBA, which is user behavior entity analysis. So if a user who regularly logs into a critical server, the application hosted server at 2 o'clock in every day, and one fine day that particular user is logging at midnight at 3 a.m., which is quite unusual. So that could possibly be catched and instantly tell you that there is a user logged in. If he or she regularly logs in at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, that's not a problem. It's regular activity. We do not catch that, flag it and tell you. But if it's something unusual, we have to tell you that. So ITOM takes care of that particular part of it. That's one way. And the other side on the firewall is the real firewall of the organization, which takes care of the entire security posture. So we completely take care of the firewall's usage, the VPN usage, how the firewall rules are written. Is there a couple of denied rules written, but still people are trying to access it? Say one of the rules says you're not supposed to access this particular website. We block that website in the firewall of organization for security reasons. Still, there are a couple of employees who try to reach that. You wanted to know who is the employee, what is the IP address of the employee who tries to reach a denied website. Immediately then that can be automated to send out an email to the HR stating that we are seeking this information, stating that this employee is trying to reach out to the denied website for quite a long time now. We want to warn them. So we wanted to think everything is as a security loophole. They could be there are a couple of passwords, say for example firewall or any network device. You really have the access to the password. Say for example you are the administrator. You wanted to type in the password to log in to make some configuration changes because you are the admin. You type in the password, you forgot the password, for example. The real case is you forgot the password. So 3 times you did it, 4th time you are doing it right. But you only know that you are the administrator and you forget it. But the tool should not believe that you are the admin. I would prefer saying that the tool should tell that 3 times wrong password, meaning there is a possible breach. Even though you are an admin, it should tell you. That's what ITOM solutions would let you know, because prevent and then let you know before, so it can be proactive. Those are something which can help you with. Yes.
Perfect. So winding up, like what are technology trends in ITOM specifically that you are really excited about?
Right.
Let me take this here.
When we talk about the trends which is about to come in 25, 26 and more, there are a lot of things people are talking more about, especially the AIOps. People are trying to make use of the AI more in the IT operations. Just not only towards your forecasting reports, but it can also help you with your impact analysis, checking about where this could impact possibly. Those things are something which is coming up. And chatbots, which is already there, and there are a lot of solutions which is implementing the chatbots with NLPs to talk to the end users to solve most of the problems at the first level. That's coming up. And there is something called business observability where the cost is involved. If there are 5 devices in a network which is not being utilized for last 7 days, as I've told, why are you running that? How much power are you spending? How much are you spending on those devices? We are wanted to calculate the ROI on each and every material. So the cost FinOps is also something which is wanted to incorporate with the ITOM sector more. And the development also have turned towards the observability. All these CI/CD pipelines, they wanted to start with the observability. That's something which is picking up. Sustainability is more important. People wanted to know reports from the ITOM solutions itself, like how many of the devices were not utilized, how much power was these 6 devices used in the last 5 days. Those kind of minute reports people wanted to look at. So sustainability also picks up as a separate thing.
Really?
And these are a couple of important trends I'm looking at. So all of these as observability, metrics, events, logs, and traces, all of that will have its impact to know how your business is there. So there are each and every individual sector will have its own trends coming up. These are something which I see forward. Look at it, yes.
So talking about FinOps, I think it's a very interesting kind of technology that's going to come up. So I'm really excited about it because I'm sure that will help even the same level executives to make decisions.
Absolutely, that's the main idea of it, because generally there is a talk as ITOM solutions would be most used by the IT administrators and technicians, where C-suite would not look at it. C-suite would be taking a look at the dashboards of it. How many devices are down, how things are, whether my business is up and running fine. That's what it is. But C-suite also wanted to take leverage of these ITOM solutions today, because there are a lot of data in it, and AI is on the other side. So AI just needs data. So quality and quantity of the data, when it's fed to AI, it can help us. So C-suite can now understand how much do I really spend on these and how much ROI I get it back really. That much of spending is that really worth? And they can also take business decisions real quick, because as I've told you, there is a website I'm running. There is a business service I'm giving. I wanted to know this particular region of the world is using more of my web pages, this particular page. So as a C-suite member, I can decide, okay, this region has my web page or my service picking up real fast. So what I can do on that region? Do I really wanted to do a content work on that region, translate work on that region, or can I go physically do an event on that region to make it more popular? So those decisions can really help. That's what it is, yes.
Perfect. So do you have any advice for any organizations that want to implement ITOM, on like a wireless spectrum?
See, as advice, I really do not have. Everybody knows what things are. But whenever you pick up any solutions in your hands, make sure that really solves a couple of purposes. Your day-to-day things. There are a lot of solutions out in the market that can do magic, that can do wonders. Make sure when you pick up a solution for your own organization, daily tasks which you really do, can it really help you to solve those? Can it easily predict things and tell you in prior, so that you fix it real quick and then you take care of another task? That's what it is. So check your tools better. That's what it is.
Perfect. It was lovely having this conversation with you, and we have a small momentum from our side.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
We hope to have you on another episode.
Definitely, I would love to talk to you more about the ITOM, and there are a lot of things which is cooking up in the ITOM sector. Probably end of the year, the next year, we'll be having a totally new conversation about observability, is what I believe. That's how fast these observability solutions are changing in its space. So definitely, I would look forward to talk to you again on this. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.